rewatched Attack on Titan like 2 months ago.
Dude, Attack on Titan makes me sad now.
Trust me, I know. I know. I read the manga. I finished it. I know. But
Are you holding out hope for an AoE?
yes, of course I am. I'm praying on my knees. Honestly, they for an AoE for Attack on Titan, they don't even need to make it that much different. They kind of just need to change Aaron's dialogue.
No, dude, that whole ending needs to change. Bruh.
I thought
The whole gesture of the rumbling means nothing if he doesn't see it through.
No, trust me. I'm a believer of that. If you want a good Attack on Titan ending, you see the rumbling to the end.
Let me tell you what I think about this. Were you there when were you like in the fandom when Isayama released what was supposed to be the final panel?
That was when I was just starting. Literally when I was first starting with the show is when he was releasing the final stuff.
The final panel? No. He released a early sketch panel. And that final panel is the final panel was supposed to be Eren holding Historia's baby saying you are free.
Oh, interesting. I've seen that panel, but I didn't know that was supposed to be the last one. I always thought that Eren and Historia were supposed to be a thing.
They were, but suddenly, I guess Eren is into Mika.
Which makes, honestly, I've never been a fan of ever, and anybody that is a fan of that
it's weird, creepy stepsist incest. It's stepcest, and I hate it.
Especially because I'm an adopted kid. It's like, especially from that perspective, it's like, dog, you clearly have a virgin mindset of what an adopted kid is like. Like, it's you don't fall in love with your siblings, I promise.
Also, I love how Mikasa was basically like a Mary Sue lost matriarch of like a whole nation of people. And then like that plot point went like absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, that was weird. That was unnecessary. It was cool and fine that she was from another nation. I thought that was fine. It kind of connected in the whole idea that the people of Marley had their memories wiped and stuff like that. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. But the Amazubito come over, and they're like, you're a super important person. We're not leaving without you. And she's like, I'm not coming with you. They're like, okay.
The first 3 seasons are peak fiction, and for right now, I will buy the, I've bought seasons 1 through 3, and I will buy the manga for seasons 1 through 3, and, if they give me an anime original ending that rectifies all my issues with it, I will buy the anime and the rest of the manga. But if not, then my collection will forever be the first 3 seasons worth of material.
Yeah, if they don't fix it, it's gonna be a huge rip, but I'll still give it to you straight. I'm such a fan of Season 4, Eren. Such a fan.
I have 2 places where I think the series could have ended. Either A, when Eren is pointing across the sea. If it had ended there, it would have been like a perfect 10 out of 10 series, and I wouldn't have had gripes about it. If it must go through season 4, end it at the panel of him as a kid shouting freedom with his arms outstretched. End it there.
I think, personally, it could have been fine all the way up to the rumbling being initiated. I was a big fan of... Truly, I was a big fan of the whole explanation that Eren felt like a true hypocrite. He felt like he needed to go through with this plan because when they had their first visit with Marley and he was interacting with the kids there, he had that one moment where he was crying on his knees to that one kid apologizing. It's like, that's a moment where he realized that he really was just like Reiner. He was experiencing the humanity of, quote unquote, the other side of the sea.
Also, and... I love how Hajime Isayama, the final chapter and the final arc have a lot of problems. Hajime Isayama does some like really gross crap in it related to mental illness and rape, and it's not really cool. I don't really like it.
Which one is that? I don't
Well,
remember.
I'll start with the mental illness bit. You have Reiner, whose double agent days left him scarred mentally, so he developed schizophrenia, you know?
Yeah, true.
According to Hajime Isayama, all you need to get rid of schizophrenia is a time skip.
Well, he was struggling with Reiner was struggling with a multiple personality disorder, where he was struggling between two different existences, and he had to kind of swap between the two of them.
Yeah, that
Whereas
leaves damage.
Bertolt and Annie. Well, yeah, no, that's very true. Whereas Bertolt and Annie were kind of always wearing a cover, Reiner had to kind of swap between these two different Reiners, right? And it was like, that's what really took a toll on him, especially that scene where he kills Marco and then immediately turns around and turns back into the scout Reiner, and now he's all concerned for Marco's safety and stuff like that. Like,
But yeah, the
scene,
natural progression of his character arc was supposed to manifest with him dying, and instead we just get like season 2 simp Reiner again, and it's really not cool.
honestly, I kind of found a beauty in the fact that he could never find death. Like, no matter how far he went, no matter what he did, for some reason, he could just never get himself killed.
There was
and
really,
it was like,
there was
he,
really,
he,
you know, you were
he
saying,
wa-
you were saying.
he wanted to die so bad, but life around him kept making him persist. And it was like, I don't know, I find a lot of beauty in that. I think there's a lot of character in that. Especially in season 4. Like, in season 4, they straight up on screen show you about to kill himself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And then he barely doesn't, because he remembers about the few things in his life that he has reason to live for. And then even then, those reasons start slipping away. Like, frickin' Porco dies, and then he thinks that Peak dies. Like, he goes through so many different things in such a short amount of time. Like, he's on the brink of letting Falco kill him.
Jamie, how lost are you?
Oh, I'm so lost. But I'm enjoying your conversation.
You've never seen Attack on Titan? Bro.
I have not. Anime is one of those things that I have not dipped my toes into.
Jamie, do not get into anime.
I know.
You're already hemorrhaging money as it is with the franchises you follow. Don't be like me. Another thing Hajime Isayama does is he does some really un-okay things regarding rape. And I will get into that extensively. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's get into it, because I don't know anything about that.
Ymir, the founder, a slave to fate her entire life. The poor broad couldn't even die right. She throws herself in front of a spear not to save her forced husband, but to die. And she subverts her healing factor just to die. When Eren finds her in the paths, he says, "You don't need to be bound by your past, you are free. You can be free. Your life did not define you." Which gnarly how you could have a whole life of hell, and in the afterlife you could still make a difference in the Attack on Titan universe. I think that's cool. But her spirit's whole MO is, I was wronged, I was mistreated, I was violated, and my entire existence was nothing but pain, mistreatment, and subjugation. This world will now burn for that. And then in one single line and one cringeworthy panel, Hajime Isayama goes, actually, she was in love with her rapist and just didn't know how to process that, because she actually doesn't know how love works. So seeing Mikasa make out with a decapitated head made her smile and realize what love is. So she decided to not hate the world anymore, because, that's how curses work. Let's remember, Ymir's spirit is not an actual person. It is a living embodiment of a curse. So, like, yeah, it's a whole thing, and when I read the line from Eren, she loved King Fritz, I wanted to put my fist through my monitor. I was so mad.
It takes a perception of human nature. You got to realize how like abuse takes over a human brain. Is very. I'm trying to. Isn't it called like Stockholm syndrome? Where
Here's the thing, though. She didn't.
Abuser?
Here's the thing, though. She didn't have Stockholm syndrome. She spent her whole life trying to escape and then killed herself to get out. She was not Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, but you gotta realize from a very young age, like as creepy as it is to say, and it is creepy, Ymir was Fritz's prisoner / wife from a teenage age, like a very young age. From a young age, Ymir literally knew nothing but slavery, nothing but servitude, anything but that, nothing but I belong to another person. So this idea of like, yes, she does believe that this is what love is, because she doesn't have a concept of what our perception of love is. Her perception of love is my owner appreciates me. And her entire life was always her owners belittling her, her owners telling her how useless she is, the people around her ratting her out for releasing one pig out, then her owner saying, I'm going to stab everybody's eyes out. Like, this was the first time that her owner said, you have a use to me, I'm going to have you at my side, I'm going to give you a place to live, I'm going to give you all of this. So it was a false perception of love from her end. Because it was the only appreciation she understood.
King Fritz is canonically into big women because he didn't marry her until after he saw her turn into a titan.
True, he exploited her, and you gotta but at that time, she was still his slave. So she went from a slave that was just another slave to a slave that is now standing at his side and being like his main disciple type thing. Like, this was her only perspective of being appreciated. So this idea of, yeah, she did love him in her own way, not the way that we would consider what love really is. You got to consider it from the whole perspective that she had through her existence.
Well, you're not wrong. It doesn't matter because ultimately the communication of the point is the problem. Like, let's not forget. The thing that makes her change her mind is Mikasa, of all people.
I mean, Mikasa's pretty epic.
Honestly, not really. She's just kind of there. If you actually take a step back and analyze her character, there's not really that much there.
That is true, but that one scene where her and Levi go after the female Titan, pretty good scene.
I'd say Mikasa's best scenes are when she's used for comedic relief. Like, remember when Eren and Historia are carrying stuff inside, and they're just casually interacting, and then Historia says something that makes Eren laugh, and Mikasa is standing like 3 feet away from her, and she gives her like the murder stare.
Yeah, no,
that's like her best scene, in my opinion.